My issue is all of my TIG filler metal. I used to store it underneath my weld bench, but it sticks out a little and it's always in the way. So I moved it upstairs into my loft. Now I'm constantly running up there to grab filler metal. And when I'm done with a job, I usually have some of these smaller leftover pieces. And sometimes it's even tough to figure out what alloy they are. So my objectives are have enough sizes and types of filler metal down here without taking up too much room and organizing the smaller pieces. Warning: read and follow all labels and your owner's manuals. I've decided to make a rack that attaches to the side of my weld bench. The frame will be made of 063 3003 alloy aluminum and have 12 PVC tubes for storing full lengths of filler metal. My Miller ArcStation weld bench is 29 inches deep. My top piece will start out 5.5 inches by 29 inches and the bottom will be 4 inches by 29 inches. Now determine my hole spacing. I'm using 1-inch PVC, which has an outside dimension of 1 5/16 inches. The closest hole saw or hole punch I have is 1 3/8 inches. Based on that, starting with the top 5.5 inch piece, I'll center my 12 holes 1 5/8 inches from the long edge. Then, starting 3.5 inches in, put a hole every 2 inches. My 12th hole should land at 25.5. Do the same with the bottom 4-inch piece, except 2 1/8 inches from the edge of the long side instead of 1 5/8 inches. So I need a little 2 3/8 inch hole that I can center on this piece. The reason I'm actually tracing out the circle is because I'm going to cheat and use my Rotex punch. And it's much easier to line up the punch using the outside of the circle being marked instead of the center point. If you're using a standard hole saw, then obviously go with the center point. I'll make some holes. Okay, on the top piece, I'm going to do 2 1-inch 90-degree bends on the front side and a 1/2 inch 90-degree bend on the back edge. Basically, it'll look like this. Now on the bottom piece, it's going to get a 1/2 inch bend on the front side and a 1-inch 90-degree bend on the back. In front of each large hole, I'm drilling 2 smaller 1/8 inch holes through the top and the 1-inch bend underneath, approximately 1/2 inch from the edge. I'm going to make 2 gusset style sides for these. They're basically mirror images of each other. It's going to be 4.5 inches by 4 inches. And then I'm measuring down 1 inch, so basically matching this front inch lip, and I'm measuring over 1.5 inches, and I'm going to cut this piece off. This 1.5 inch piece is going to be bent at a 90 degree, but I got to make sure that I cut a 1/2 inch off the top of that bend for clearance for the back 90 degree bend on the top tray. So basically it's going to be the same for the other side, except it's just a reverse image. Okay, again, 4.5 inches by 4 inches, those are your 2 pieces. 1.5 wide bend, cut a 1/2 inch off the top, inch down, 1.5 over, cut that drop off piece. Since this is 3003 aluminum, I'm using 1/16 4043 filler metal. I have my Multimatic 220 AC/DC set for 90 Hertz, 72% on the balance because I'm welding an outside corner and I want a little bit more oxide cleaning, and my amperage is set for 65, which I'm regulating with the foot control. The bottom gussets are much easier. They're just 3 inches by 4 inches with a 1.5 inch 90-degree bend. Weld settings are the same. Cut 12 pieces 35 to 35.25 inches long of the 1 inch PVC. Clean and deburr the ends. Mount it to the weld bench. Notice I left just enough room on my bottom rack to slide the PVC end caps under. This will keep the tubes nice and tight when removing the top cap. It also helps to use sandpaper or emery cloth to make the inside dimension of the top cap a little looser, or even drill a small hole in it. Install the tubes and use a rubber hammer to seat them tight into the bottom caps. There it is, another shop optimization project in the books. I got all my full-length cut pieces in their tubes and the corresponding drop-off pieces in the small holes I drilled in front of them, so I'll never mix them up again. Now I just need to find my label maker.